our roadshow. And before I call upon the esteemed speakers, I just want to take a minute to set the context around what we are going to be talking about today and the topic, which is revolutionizing security operations with AI-driven threat detection and response. We all know that AI is rapidly evolving, and its true value in cybersecurity lies in empowering security teams to counter increasingly complex threats with more effective threat detection and response capabilities. And by automating and enhancing data analysis, AI not only mitigates the security risks but also alleviates the team burnout and addresses the cybersecurity skills gap, efficiently processing vast volumes of data collected daily by the numerous security platforms. And organizations can further strengthen their security infrastructure by choosing between a cloud native, on premise, and a hybrid SIM platform, thus aligning with specific requirements like data localization and regulatory compliance. So, in today's session, we will be covering a few key areas such as how AI enhances threat detection and response, empowering security analysts and CISOs with the tools, intelligence, and guidance to secure against the modern cyber threats, and the best of breed SIM across cloud, on-prem, or hybrid for enhanced detection, analysis, and response. So, with that, since I'm not the expert, I'm not going to do too much of talking. I would let the insights to come from the actual experts. With that, I would like to welcome and invite Mazen Adnan Dobhaji, Vice President and General Manager for Logarithm India, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa, and Nandan Patil, Regional Director, Logarithm India, for the welcome stream and to give a strategic direction about the companies.
Thank you, sister. I promise you, you're going to be an expert after this session. Just pay attention, okay? You'll be an expert. All right. Namaste. Sabka swagat hai. Let me tell you this. I love India. I love Indian people. I love butter chicken. It's my favorite. I made my wife. She learned how to make butter chicken, and that's where all my fat is coming from. All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm thrilled to see all of you under one roof. As my sister said that we're going to share with you very useful insights about our latest and greatest innovation in our SOC offering, our cybersecurity software and platforms. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a techie. Okay, so my colleagues, will take you through the all the greatest stuff that we have to offer you. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. सुरक्षा संचालन में क्रांतिकारी बदलाव.
You didn't tell me that. What does it mean?
So how many of you guys can translate that? It's the same thing, which is revolutionizing security operations.
Okay, good.
With AI, I have yet to find a equivalent Hindi word for AI, but one of you guys can help. So, thank you for coming. I think everyone in this room is a testimony of how important or how this whole world of security operations, making it better and doing revolutionizing there and having AI attached to anything. I'm told it's easier. A friend of mine, FMCG, and he says, if you've got a refrigerator or we have, the air conditioner, if you put a sticker of AI, it sells better. But that's the caveat. I want to tell you that
we are not into that play. The reason why it took time for us possibly to have a full-fledged session like this is we're waiting for the right moment to be able to bring the most mature and what Mr. Mazen just mentioned as the possibly the most advanced. This is the most advanced way in which manage security operations. This is no more about security, or you need a SIM or a SOC to do management of security. Here we are talking of the second stage, right? How do you manage the problems and issues, and how do you really get to the next level of enhancing, fine-tuning, and giving you a pure play, a pure signal on doing the detection and threat detection. And that is exactly that we bring to the table. For people who possibly are aware, Logarithm as a company, we are old for, been in this industry for around 25 years, but we entered India in 21. And I think in this span of 3-4 years, we've got some significant number of customers who are with us. And today, with this merger, we are here to talk about a completely new chapter, what we bring into this.
You want to cover the agenda? Yeah, go ahead.
Very simply, I think, we are at 6:30, 6:45, 1. We are today just doing the first level complete briefing. I think we'll follow that with our partners. What is the strategy for NetPolin, who's our co-sponsor on this event, what they offer. And I think the center of attraction for this entire session is the entire session that is dedicated to demonstrate to you exactly the core subject, which is how are we going to use AI and how we are currently giving you a platform in the hand, which will give the revolutionizing of your operations and security. So that's about 1 hour, which is fully dedicated to that. And I think, you will really enjoy that because I trust, Peter, that this is something that you would have not seen anywhere else in the industry. So that's this idea. We have a small panel discussion followed by that around 15-20 minutes to different views from different, we have some representatives of different companies who are running SOC operations to understand, and we have kept it deliberately after the session in getting feedback from them that what are the challenges they have today and the platform that we are able to get a glimpse of. Do you think that it has any promise? So I think that would be also very interesting to take a wrap-up session. So that's exactly what our short agenda is. It's a short format, it's an evening format, and I think we believe that all of these will, initiate sprout a small plant in your mind, and you will be wanting to talk about it more. And of course, we'll have a longer conversations. We will have longer sessions further on. Yes, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Nandan. Okay. It's very important to go through the history of Logarithm and Exabeam, the journey of success and the journey to the future. We started Logarithm back in 2005 with a log management foundation, or that was the base of the finding of the company. As we evolved, right, so we added in 2007 the SIEM capability. And then in 2010, we added the endpoint forensics to the platform. Now, in 2011, we started with the machine analytics part, and the foundation of the SOAR was started in 2012. This is a very important milestone, as the founders of Logarithm, they had a vision. They were visionary, they knew what the market, what CISOs and the professionals will be looking for. The detection part is important, right? But also there has to be some sort of response capability. We needed to put the foundation for the SOAR, and that's where the security orchestration, automation, and response foundation itself started in 2012. Now, if you compare that, okay, with all the competitors that were out there in the market back in 2012, I mean, without mentioning names, none of our competitors have thought in that direction, okay, early in the journey. In other words, most of our competitors, they realized that a response capability would be required. When was that? In 2018, 2019, and that's where our competitors started looking at third-party SOAR the likes of Resilient, the likes of Phantom, okay, without mentioning names of the competitors, but they went and they acquired a third-party SOAR just to kind of like, fill the gap, okay? In 2013, we started again with the behavior analytics, and that was the foundation of the user entity behavior analytics. Again, we were 5 years ahead of the market when it comes to the UEBA. I'm sure, most of you started hearing about the UEBA as a buzzword, 2019, 2020, maybe, like 2018, right, time frame. But in our case, that's when we started the foundation of the UEBA. So the journey continued as we evolved, in the detection, and we kind of have built the response capability. Now, is that enough? I meet a lot of CISOs on a daily basis, right? And when I ask them, what is the only thing that keep you sleepless at night? They say that, we're just waiting for that thing to happen. We don't know when it will happen, but definitely it will happen, right? So most of you, I'm sure that most of you have invested tens of thousands, millions of thousands of rupees and dollars, in technologies in a hope that you'll be able to detect something, okay? Hoping that you'll be able to detect something. But guess what? When you detect that something has happened already or is happening in your environment, right? And based on that detection, you will start acting, oh God, how do I respond? How do I mitigate? How do I stop? How do I, all these kind of things. That's where the response part come from, right? But, as, being the pioneer and the leader in the innovation, right? We thought of why don't we provide the capability, the ability to those who are having sleepless nights to predict what could happen and when it could happen or it will happen, right? That's where, we're talking about now the predictive analysis or analytics. Now, you're going to hear a lot more from my brother Rami and Manju about that piece, the predictive. So again, detection is important, response is even more important, but being able to predict, this is what most of you, I'm sure, most of you are looking for. You want to predict what could happen and when it would happen, right? Nandan?
Yes. So I think everything now comes together. I think as rightly what Mazen sir mentioned that, we are very proud that we are a independent company who build all these components together, right? And all those three stages that you mentioned, up till the productive is something that is, we are very proud of it. It's something which we natively built. And I personally call this as an engineering marvel because we're able to fit in all these components into one single nifty box, right? And you'll discover this when you speak to customers who are already using our platform. So if you look at it, the next step for us is actually where we merge both these, we joined forces. So it's become a more stronger entity. For some people who may still have questions, Logarithm is a fully on-prem platform, and Exabeam is a leader in the cloud and AI/ML, and we are trying to bring both the strong capabilities to the market. Each of them will be independent, but there is also something we call as an augmentation. For someone who want to get the best of the AI and ML. We're going to talk about that into our session, which follows through this. So very quickly, we believe we are the largest independent security operations player, unlike other companies who do security or SIM or SOC solution as one of the 75 other things that we do. We are not like that. We're completely focused. And of course, we had so many other temptations, right? Every other day you hear XDR and WAF and EDR, and we have not ventured into that. We remain and we choose to be focused onto this technology. And I think that is what exactly reflects from the outcome of our platforms and how customers are the ones who are really benefiting from that. So we are the largest provider. We have fantastic recognition from the industry, 14 years of leadership. Then we have 4,000 plus kind of customers. A lot of the names that we will speak about, which are there in India, are also industry beacons in BFSI industry, manufacturing, in healthcare, in insurance, and all of them are someone who are really very happy. And I heard a friend of mine works into Microsoft. He is actually leading the security, and I think the best compliment I received for him is that he mentioned to me that, hey, we went to your customers also, but they really love your product. And the ones that are already your customers, it's very difficult to move them. So we've given up going to the customers who are your customers. We go to others. So that's a validation, I think, of things that we do all right. And thanks to you as customers, we are not the smartest people ourselves. It's only when we gather information, we listen to your needs, we listen to your problems, your challenges, your sleepless nights, is what becomes fodder for us to go and develop and to improve our platform. So that's exactly what we have. All the capabilities which is required in the next generation SOC, including the predictive part, is something that we've built in. We are very proud, and we don't send you to someone else. For big data, we don't say you go to Hadoop. We don't say, for UEBA, go to somewhere else. This entire platform, this entire piece of this technology stack is owned by us, is supported by us, is licensed by us. So it's completely worry-free environment for you. So that's something that we bring. One thing which is very unique about this is that if you see, we have 75 plus major cybersecurity patents. We are super focused not only on making sure that we are bringing bug fixes and patches. We are promising every 3 months a new version on on-prem platform, and it is even shorter for our cloud platform. So that's something that we are very proud of, and this is the whole idea. Today, some of them are still very highly regulated industries. You possibly cannot move to the cloud. You have to be on-prem. We have an option for that. For people who are born in the cloud, with the e-commerce and the Flipkarts of the world, right? They are the ones who definitely don't want to come on-prem. And for them, today, we have this option which is fully on cloud. And for those who are in the journey, I think we have also this hybrid option where we can give you the best of both. You've got an legacy SIEM, but you want to modernize that. You want to have the best technology. We have the best capabilities, but you still have juice left. You still have another 3-4 years or 2 years maybe, to juice out from whatever investments that we made. And we give you this middle path where you get the best of the new generation technology, the AI ML detection capabilities. So that's very interesting. I think that's exactly what you will see today. Okay, I think it's time for us to move to the next stage. Wasn't there any last
Sure, yeah.
points?
Yeah, exactly. So the Indian market is the most important market for us. To the extent where my CEO, our CEO, Mr. Chris O'Malley, he makes a monthly visits to India. Monthly. Every month, he comes and visits India. He's the CEO. He flies all the way from Colorado. That's where our HQ is, right? So there is a huge focus now on the Indian market. Of course, we're investing a lot in terms of bringing resources, adding resources into the team. This is the current team that we have, and this is our office in Pune. Now, of course, the teams that we have, they are across all functions, from the sales and system engineering to the professional services, where of course, we seek the help of our partners, of our system integrators, to do the deployments, but we also have our own professional services team locally here in India. We have a PMO team, the post-deployment technical support, which is extremely important. Now, that's what I always say, you get the best of the best product, okay? But you don't have the right resources to support that product. That product is worth nothing, right? So unless you have the right team to support the product, then you'll be suffering. You'll be struggling a lot. So for that, we have built a support center in India. Currently, we have, I think, around 15 support engineers out of India. Plus, of course, on top of our support center in Singapore and Dubai, Egypt, and of course the UK and US. But as a focused market for us, the support engineers are based out of India, right, with a full-fledged support center. And of course, the customer success is very important because that's what we care about. We care about our customers' success. So we have a full function with team to take care of your success, of course, right? And the training, which is a very essential part. We do have on-site training courses that we conduct on a periodic basis, or tailored to your requirements. So thank you very much. This is what we want to share with you, Nandan and I.
Yeah.
And we will move to the next agenda, right, item. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mazen and Nandan. Great insights. And Mazen, I would, want you to explore other dishes, Indian cuisine beyond butter chicken. Okay. Oh, great, great. That's good to know. And you have your clear favorite. That's okay. So I'll not try to convince you otherwise then. um, Going back to what both of them spoke about, and especially Mazen mentioned about what keeps the CISOs awake at night, and that was the exact question I asked some of the CISOs during a discussion that we were having, and he said that my what keeps me awake is that tomorrow morning, what if I read something on Twitter, which is now X, about my company, something being hacked or breached. And that is something that I think then all CISOs, whether in India or any other country, definitely identify with what you actually pinpointed the right thing. And therefore, I think AI will play a crucial role in being able to predict threats and therefore remediate the fastest possible and with the least disruption. So with that, again, a big round of applause for Mazen and Nandan. So up next, I would like to welcome and invite Gaurav Kumar Ranade, CTO of Netpolian India, and he will talk about logarithm, Exabeam, and Netpolian strategy and collaboration. Welcome.
Thank you, and very good evening to all of you. Uh, People who know my face and my name are very well aware of that there is a transition phase, and I have joined a new organization, the Netpolian, in a capacity of CTO. And today I got to know from Mazin that I'm quite lookalike of a CTO for logarithm as well. So nevertheless, I think it's a great thing that first of all, on behalf of Netpolian India and logarithm, for welcome to all of you, that you have taken a precious of your time for this particular event, and then join us for this particular discussion and the crucial portion of the technology in advent of an AI, and are totally the occupied and different set of the market with the different products itself. So I'm just going to give you a hint of the company, Netpolian India, that you might be aware of, and many of you are not there. But yes, it's a value-added distributor in a capacity to provide the multiple technology solutions, and we are the partners for the logarithm, are providing the value-added services. And you know that once that the services which had to be a part of it, it's just not only to incorporate a one single product only, it's a complete solution with the component of the pre-sales, post-sales, and other portions. Just a brief of that, what is a Netpolian, that has a capacity that as an Indian entity, that's a Technology Consultants Private Limited. And we have been taken with the Netpolian, which is having 11 different countries as a presence, and then taken over as a Macnica, that's a Japanese company, which is worth of a $6 billion US dollar of annual turnover. Primarily is into semiconductor business, but near about to 600 millions of cybersecurity business annually we have. So we are a part of a Macnica group of Japan, which is providing predominantly into the cybersecurity. So under umbrella of Macnica, we have a representative of Macnica today. Mr. Yuta San is already here, giving his auspicious presence as well. Uh, just taking it as that you're already aware of, that we all are talking about cybersecurity. India as a country is on hit, that the daily different, after every 11 seconds, there is a breach is happening, that the critical sectors which have been hit it, we know that the reasons are. We need not to spend much more time out of it, that what are the reasons, because we are dealing day and night. You are the first people that who are having sleepless nights, that to fight with all these the challenges, that the different attack vectors, the surface which is getting day by day, those that the different devices, different components are creating different issues in our daily life. How we have to address that there are certain facts are also there. You know it, all of them, that how much of a turnover we have, that how much of the losses we are making it, the different challenges of the technology has not been incorporated in any segmentation or with the different tools or the multiple technologies which has been provided. What are the key drivers which are just making all these transactions, or we are getting to lose out of it? The government initiatives, either by the compliances, the regulatory authorities, that they are providing with the RBI, with the SEBI, with the METI, with the certain, that all day-to-day basis are recently, just like a day ago, that even the Apple users now have been warned for any of a malicious activity could be happen on your devices. And almost everyone sitting in this particular room, we all have Apple phones, right? So we don't know that what is going to be happen with us. We don't know that what exactly the next step of an action is going to be happen on our devices. The trends switches into the industry day by day, the different tools, the technologies, how it has to be appear, and how it has to be looking into that aspects, that these facts are no longer hidden from anyone. They are there on the newspapers, mobile phones, that on through our laptops or our devices. But are we very serious about it? The threats, what we are looking at the future cybersecurity concept. I'm just giving only that the information that which you already have it, but whether we are considering all these facts in our daily use or not. Just only for that. The second most targeted country. We are the most targeted country in entire Asia for this. A ransomware attack that's day by day growing. Couple of days back, I had the three different attacks in our own city, that's of a Gurgaon itself, and the major players. I can't take their name just only for the compliance perspective, but yes, these attacks are daily happening. The loss, what we are having it, emerging threats. We are there for the AI-driven attacks. So on the offensive one, with the predictive analytics, the technology is there, but are we capable enough to tackle all these attacks, that we have to consider ourselves onto the losing side every single time? The cloud security risks, the supply chain risks, which are going to be like as the three of the major risks what we identified. Uh, Definitely, these are the different target sectors, and the projected financial loss, which can be emulated or debatable for anyone, that relatively for this one. So with the logarithm, that with the same, I know that the proposition everybody is aware of, that what could be the usability, what are the different proposition, or to identify different logs on that. But let me very honest, with an experience in the value-added distribution industry, while evaluating almost like as a 10 to 12 different products in the market, very prominent names in that, and rightly Mazin and Nandan has mentioned that detection and response. The detection is a primary key aspect for that. So if you are not able to detect anything, or might be attack already have been happened, you never know that what's going to be impact on your business. Now the reason is that whether your SIM is capable enough, or the SIM has that capability to detect all these scenarios. Now basically that the evaluation for all these particular products, I may say it after a carefully evaluated all these particular products, that you yourself create those particular use cases and take it on to the POC, and then the Netpolian India will be ready to provide you support on that part. The different sectors, I won't take it on that part, because every industry needs that log analysis. Every industry needs that whatsoever is happening within your your offices, your verticals, your domains, and your scenarios as well. But basically, if I say so, that many of the organizations have a SIM or just only on the name of, but actual functionality is moving on to the syslogs only. So it just only either you have to make it like as a financial capability on your side, that to save your money on that part, just to take it on to the either EPS basis or a data storage, where it's a market denomination which they are taking it. But technically, the major portion is that how you have to save your entire infrastructure. That's the role of a SIM. Uh, the forward for that, whatsoever the solutions, you have to take it. We are there. You can ask us for any of in support, whatever is required. And in that our association with Logarithm in Netpolian is hand to hand. So whether you need it on the role of a pre-sales, with the post-sales, in any of a training or the certifications in the evangelization per se, or if you need any of a solution for your premises, and if you need any kind of support, we are always there. Our teams are available pan-India. We are there in Delhi, we are there in Mumbai, in Bangalore, Chennai, as well as in Calcutta. Our teams are available. We are there to work along with you, to understand your use cases, and then to look at that whatsoever the pre-sale support is required on that part. The second part is that just not only that to sell that particular product and then to move away. On behalf of a Netpolian and then Logarithm and Exabeam, I would give you a confirmation on that and the consent on that. We will there with you, will work for you, and we will look into those particular areas where you still need that particular gap to be identified. With this particular thing, thank you so much once again, that this is a team that the Netpolian India, we have a product manager, Mr. Prabhakar, who is there in the hall itself. You can contact him for any of an opportunity. You need any kind of a support for that. We have a pre-sales and the post-sales lead, Mr. Vishwak, as a pre-sales lead, to understand your use cases, and then Mr. Marutesh, who is the post-sales lead for the Logarithm, and then to do all these particular implementation and the support part for this. So this is more like as from the Netpolian, and I just only wanted to say that thank you so much, and welcome for this particular event itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav, for taking us through more details about Netpolian and the partnership with Logarithm Exabeam. Now it's time for the session on unleashing the power of AI in security operations. And for that, I would like to welcome Rami Ahmed, Principal Director Sales Engineering for Logarithm in India, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa, and Manjunath Kanchugar, who is Regional Sales Engineer at Logarithm India. Please welcome Rami and Manjunath.
It's my pleasure, my honor to be here in India for the second time and in Delhi for the first time. We have prepared something really special for you because we wanted to deliver the value of a real AI and ML driven security operations center platform. Before we take you through the agenda, as a quick introduction about myself and Manju, we are a part of Logarithm SE Tigers from the sales engineering team. A quick introduction about myself. My name is Rami Ahmed. I'm a part of the SE team. I'm with Logarithm since Jan 2015. I have the honor to be one of the two, me and Mazen, who founded Logarithm in the IMETA. And the journey continues, so it's my pleasure again to be with you here. Manju?
Yeah, hi everyone. Myself Manjunath Kanchugar. I'm a regional sales engineer for Logarithm, now Exabeam. I hold 15 plus year of experience, and I joined Logarithm in 2022. And previous to this, I worked with many other firms with McAfee, Emirates Airlines, MBRDI, Wipro.
Yeah. Let's go directly. So as I said in the beginning, we have prepared something really special, and we wanted to have it a little bit tangible. So everyone is talking about the AI, everyone is talking about the ML. We would like to show you the practical use of both of them with the two technologies, the two platforms that we have within our company. So we have Logarithm and we have Exabeam, and everyone was asking, well, there is a merge between the two companies. Will Logarithm move completely to be cloud native, or Exabeam will come to be on-prem? The fact is, we will focus on both of them because there is no overlap, right? So Logarithm is an on-prem platform, completely on-prem, And Exabeam is cloud native platform. And when I say cloud native, it means it is built based on the cloud technology. It's not cloudifying a software. It's not like just moving my VM from the on-prem and put it on the cloud. It is based on Google, GCP. We're gonna start with the first part, which is Exabeam new scale. We have a lot of things that we need to cover, so we will talk about some challenges that should be taken into consideration. By the way, this is not working, right? We will talk about some challenges that should be taken into consideration if I need to have a real AI-driven security operation platform. Then after that, what is Exabeam Fusion, right? What kind of engines we have in order to form the beast, which we call Exabeam Fusion. Then after that, we will talk about the innovation of the AI, and you will see really some interesting things when we talk about the journey of innovation. If everyone is talking now about ML and AI, you will see that we have started this in 2015 when no one was thinking even about ML and AI, right? Then we will talk about Exabeam and where can it fit, right? You might be happy with your existing SIM. Well, can I get Exabeam or not? You might not be happy with your existing SIM. Well, can I get Exabeam with logarithm or Exabeam with the log management or not? We will cover this in details. Then seeing is believing. We have recorded 3 or 4 videos for Exabeam and 3 or 4 videos, live videos, showing the power of the AI and ML with logarithm, and we're gonna cover both of them at the end of each presentation. With that said, let me start with this. Challenges. This is the biggest challenge. If anyone wants to sell anything now, it is AI power. It is using machine learning. Well, I can claim anything. I would like to see this practically in my security operations center. I would like to see the value of this one. And usually, the value is something intangible. And you need to make it tangible. And the easiest way to see a tangible value, I have a problem and you're solving my problem. I have an issue and the AI is minimizing the time of solving this issue, and definitely I'm reducing the time to detect and respond. And also the AI is a huge, massive topic. It's not only in cybersecurity. You can use the AI in everything. You're using ChatGPT to create content, to summarize a video, to create voice, to edit a content. You can use it in healthcare. So we would like to see how can I use the AI or a part of the AI in my security or cybersecurity plans, right? So this is one of the challenges that should be taken into consideration as well. Let me start with this one. Usually when you build your security operations center, you will have multiple of stages. Stage number 1, I would like to start with the data ingestion, visibility. Then after that, detection, triage, investigation, response, right? In my opinion here, the only thing that you might automate, it might be the response. I need to take an action, but I need to take the action based on my detection engines. For each one of them, definitely you have to integrate with your log sources. You need to make sure that everything is working fine. I have the visibility on everything. Then after that, when it comes to detection, you have to configure the right rules in order to detect what you know about, which is called fact-based analytics or correlation-based analytics. And this will be a manual job because you have to make sure that the rule is working fine, the rule is getting triggered, and all of these things. And it's a manual work. After that, you have to do the triage because you will have many alerts generated, and you need to make sure that the false positive rate will be reduced. You need to make sure that you're not missing something which we call the false negative, and this will take time. And again, it is a manual process because you have to fine tune, you have to include, you have to exclude, you have to whitelist, you have to blacklist, and so on after you investigate the trigger alarms. Then after that, I have to do the investigation. Usually, when you have a problem, you need to find the root cause. And in order to find the root cause to decide whether this rule is working fine or not, I have to do the investigation. I need to see what happened before, what happened after. And again, this is a manual process. So based on our survey, we found that almost 74% of your time as an analyst time is being wasted doing a lot of manual things, which we can automate by using AI and ML. And this is exactly the value of Exabeam threat detection, investigation, and response. It is completely AI-driven, and we're gonna cover in details what do we do behind the scene in order to streamline the process of
detection, triage, investigation, and at the end, it will make the response easier, and I will have more confidence before I decide to take an action or not, right? Moving forward, let's talk about what is Exabeam Fusion. So Exabeam is a holistic platform. And under this platform, we have multiple of engines, right? Forming the beast, which we call Exabeam Fusion, right? So we have the first engine, which is Exabeam Data Lake or Big Data Platform, which is the log management. We're gonna cover it in details later on. Then we have the SIM, because definitely I don't want only to do the log management for dashboarding and compliance. I would like to start detecting by using some pre-configured correlation rules. So I need to be alerted if this activity happened after this activity, which is stitching the events together in order to get the real visibility, because each one of them might be normal. So I have someone creating an account, and after that elevating the privileges of the account, then after that deleting the account in a short period of time. Each one of them could be normal, but when you have the full picture by doing the correlation, it might tell you a story that there is something weird because he has done this in a short period of time on a server which is not supposed to be accessed by him, and so on. That's why SIM is complementing the story of the log management. Then we have Exabeam Security Analytics, which is Exabeam User and the Entity Behavioral Analytics. Actually, Exabeam is well known for the UEBA. Actually, I think we are even the benchmark for the UEBA because we invented this. We invented the concept of user and the entity behavioral analytics, and we will cover this in details, but this is another important engine which is completely driven by machine learning. Everything we do here, it's purely based on what we call behavioral analytics, machine learning algorithms and models, right? And this is the third engine. Then we have the fourth engine, which is the security investigation, and this is our generative AI. I would like to use the AI to complement my UEBA, to complement my SIN story, to complement my log management in order to give me a holistic visibility, what I have done the integration with. If I'm missing anything, it can give me a recommendation which area I should focus on to do the improvement, and this will be covered practically in our live demo. And this is the holistic overview of Exabeam Fusion. Now let's talk about what's happening behind the scene, right? With Exabeam, we have 4 pillars forming the platform. The pillar number 1 is ingestion, threat detection, investigation, and response, right? When it comes to the ingestion, I should have the capability to ingest the data from any device generating any signal in my organization. It could be on-prem, it could be on the cloud. Regardless the type of the log generated, it could be audit, it could be operation, it could be security, it could be business. Because I might use the platform to apply some business analytics, and I'm gonna show you some practical use cases that I'm getting the data from the log source, I'm using the data for some security analytics, for some operational analytics, and also for some business-related analytics use cases, right? So I should have the capability to ingest the data from any device. And it's not just a matter of ingesting the data from the log sources. I need to do the enrichment as well when it comes to threat intel, when it comes to vulnerability data, when it comes to contextualization. So I need to contextualize my data. For example, I'm seeing an authentication behavior from a user called rami.ahmad@logarithm.com. Who is rami.ahmad.logarithm.com? I need to do a lot of enrichment in order to make the life of the analyst easier by giving him the full identity, the full information about this user, his title, department, photo, email address, his manager, his group, his mobile phone, every single process he ran on this machine, his privileges, all of these things which we can call a full identity. And this is coming under the umbrella of ingestion. After I do the data ingestion, I will start doing the threat detection. And when it comes to the threat detection, we will have multiple of sub-engines within the platform. Engine number 1, which is the easy one, which we can call fact-based analytics or correlation engine, which is easy. I will have some predefined rules that will be enabled out of the box. And if I see this behavior happening in my organization, an alert will be triggered. But this will help you to detect what is known. but you need to be alerted if you see it happening in your organization, right? I would like to be alerted if someone will create an account, elevate the privileges, then connect to my database to delete a table. I would like to be alerted if someone will connect a VPN from 2 different geographic locations in less than a day. This is very easy, but again, it is detecting and alerting you for something that you know about. That's why still we need it, but we have to fine tune it, otherwise you will have many false positive. But there is another term which is false negative. False negative means there is a zero-day attack. I have no idea what kind of IOCs I should be tracking. I have no idea if I should configure the rule in that way, if I should include, exclude. What if the attacker will change his behavior? I have to keep fine-tuning my rule. That's why the only method to detect the unknown attack in the 0-day is by using behavioral profiling, the UEBA, which is completely based on machine learning. So I'm doing the baselining for everything, and I will show you now practically what do we do exactly to do the baselining for every single user, for every single asset in the organization, right? So we have another threat detection engine, which is user and entity behavioral analytics. Then we have the prioritization and risk scoring, which is driven by the AI, because everything in Exabeam is risk-based driven. So I would like to focus my time to focus on the high risky, followed by medium risky, followed by low risky, and the risk scoring should be based on a criteria, should be based on a time frame, and this is completely automated by the AI in order to save the analyst time. After the threat detection, we have the investigation, which, if you remember, it was a manual process. How can I automate the investigation by using the AI? When it comes to the investigation, you can see something called rich event timeline. We invented the concept of timeline analytics in Exabeam 10 years ago. So whatever the behavior you have in your organization, it could be a normal behavior, it could be an abnormal behavior, it could be an alert, it could be an incident, everything is explained in a timeline in order to tell you that I have seen this behavior from this user or from this asset, followed by what. So it gives you the story in a timeline, and the timeline is stitched together by using AI and ML. That's number one when it comes to investigation. Number two, generative AI, interactive AI co-pilot. You are the pilot, I would like the AI to be your co-pilot. So whenever I have any alert, whenever I have any incident, the platform will give you a summary for this alert. A very easy summary for, even you can decide, I would like the summary to be for my SOC manager. It will be a little bit detailed. I would like the summary to be for my executives. It will be high level. You can decide that, and it will be based on every alert, every case, every event. And you can tune this one, and you can start chatting because it is interactive. You can start chatting with what we call AI chatbot. You can start asking questions, getting answers, and this is something that we're gonna cover in details in our live demo. And definitely I would like to create reports and dashboards. And you might have a question here. What is the relation between AI and creating reports and dashboards? Because usually I can ask the AI on the spot, go and create this dashboard for me. Plain Hindi language, plain English language, the platform will understand your request and it will convert it behind the scene and it will get you the report in the format you ask for in a plain English. Which engine is doing that? It is the AI converting your question to the response or to the outcome that you have asked for. It could be a report, it could be a dashboard. And this is the pillar number 3, which is
Rami, just to add on specific to that reporting and dashboard, we get a lot of requests from the customers saying that they struggle with creating those custom reports, what they really wanted, like executive reports or the analyst level reports, as Rami was telling, with a generative AI, with a tip of information saying that, hey, create a SOC executive dashboard. By typing it, it'll going to take that input and it creates that relevant executive dashboard or a respective analyst dashboard or specific to the applications you wanted to drill down it. In a matter of seconds, you can spin up that dashboard.
Yeah, yeah. And this is another practical use case where we can use the AI to fit within our security operations center. Again, seeing is believing. We will show this live in our live demo. I think we have 3 demos on Exabeam and 4 demos on Logarithm. We recorded them to make it faster, right? So we're gonna cover this in details. Last but not least, I have finished from the ingestion. I have finished from the threat detection, investigation. I would like to take an action. We have the built-in SOAR capability, which is allowing you to take an action. And we have like a big ecosystem when it comes to the bi-directional integration we have with different vendors in the market. Again, 4 pillars for Exabeam AI-driven platform: ingestion, threat detection, investigation, and response, right? Now let's dig more and get more information about the algorithms that we use, the kind of models we use. Because I don't believe in like, it's a black box, it's doing magic, you care only about the output. No, you can see every single model, every single algorithm we use behind the scene, which caused this anomaly or this incident or this alarm to be triggered. So we have 3 different categories. And anything we have in the platform, it could be applied to the users or the assets. That's why it is called user and the entity behavioral analytics, right? Number 1, as a category, it could be category or categorical as a model. This is the type number 1 for users and assets. It means I would like to baseline everything the user is doing. It could be an IP connection he's coming, or the IP he's coming from, the IP he's accessing. It could be a file he's playing with. It could be a web activity. It could be a process activity. It could be an RDB activity. It could be anything, right? I would like to baseline this, right? And even the baselining is completely different, and we will cover this in the next slide, because when you think about the baselining, if you make it log-based baselining, you will have a lot of false positive. But what we do is session-based baselining for 24 hours. Everything the user or the machine is doing is getting automatically stitched together in 24 hours by using the ML and AI. That's category number 1. Category number 2, it could be based on numerical numbers. I would like to baseline the amount of uploads or amount of downloads or the size of the attachments or the number of emails. It means I have a count, I have a sum, I have a number that I would like to baseline, because I can use it in order to alert you in case I see a deviation up or down from the baseline. For example, I used to see this user is uploading 1 gig per hour. Suddenly it became 10 gig. It could be a potential data exfiltration, something like that. And this is another category when it comes to the models. The third category is the time of the week. I would like to baseline the time, the date, right? So I use the user is coming every day and logging to his laptop at 9 a.m. I used to see him accessing his laptop or like logging out from his laptop at 5 p.m. I used to see him printing a lot of documents from 9 to 12. I used him to have the badge access to multiple of doors in my organization. I'm baselining this as well. So it's not only based on the normal behavior he's doing or the sum, or it could be also based on the time of the week. So this is what we have behind the scene, and this is exactly what we baseline for every single user and for every single asset. As I said, I'm baselining the networks that he is coming from. I'm baselining the VPN activity, the web activity, the email behavior, the endpoint activity. I'm baselining the database activity, the assets. This is good, but this is theoretical. Let me show it to you live on our interface.
I mean, with Exabeam, we have like a 950 plus models, which is running on each of those entities, users, applications, endpoints. Every time there is a log has been created, we have a models running parallelly. I mean, irrespective of those assets or users, we keep defining what is normal. And then it is very easy for detecting those abnormal activity in the network.
So as we said, seeing is believing, and what I'm showing right now is something that you don't have even to check in the platform. But I said in the beginning that we don't have a black box. For if I'm telling you that there is an abnormal behavior, tell me what you learn it as normal, right? So for every single user you have in your organization or asset, you will get the full identity of the user, and we are baselining all of these things: assets, location, time, VPN, application, database activity, all the users that this user is interacting with. He might be creating accounts, modifying accounts, baselining the workstations, the physical access. Let's dig more, right? When it comes to the assets, I'm baselining every single asset she is connecting to, and every single asset she is coming from or she's connecting from. And the category of the asset, is it a workstation? Sorry, the resolution is not good, but I'm trying to explain it, right? The category of the asset, is it a server, is it a workstation? And even the count of connection per day. And there is a good thing with each model here, which is, it is explained here, which is the confidence level, how confident the ML is having now in order to start using this as a baseline. I will give you a practical example. I'm starting my baselining for 4 weeks, and Rami is in the office, Manju is not in the office. So I can use the baseline for Rami, but Manju, I didn't see any behavior for him in order to start doing the baselining. So it can tell you that my confidence to start using this baseline for Rami is 90%, but it is not even exceeding 20% for Manju. So automatically the AI will go and consult the ML to relearn for him, right? Because I cannot use my baseline for him because I didn't see a behavior from him. That's why even when we baseline, we see what we call the confidence level and baselining the locations that she is connecting from. It could be branch A, it could be branch B, it could be network 1, it could be network 2, and baselining the VPN connections, the VPN countries, and baselining the IP addresses that she is coming from and the IP addresses assigned to her when she got the VPN session established. It's a part of the baselining. Again, you don't have to investigate this. This is happening completely automated, in an automated way behind the scene, right? Also, just to move quickly, I can baseline all the email connections, all the emails I'm communicating with, the size of the attachments, the number of attachments, the number of recipients, I'm baselining this, and so on. Just imagine if you would like to build, this is door access, physical access. If you would like to build a rule for every user, how many rules you will have to configure in your organization? Hundreds of thousands of rules, because you need to apply a rule for every user, for every asset, for every behavior. What we do differently here is we have this out of the box within the platform. And the learning is taken from 4 weeks to 5 weeks as a recommendation, but this is completely configurable, right? Then just quickly, I'm skipping this because the baselining, again, is for everything. So I can just control baseline all the web activity, what kind of browser she was using, when she connected to the internet, she was connecting to what kind of domains, the URLs, the bandwidth consumption, the countries that she was browsing sites at, and so on, right? This is a very, very important slide. Again, it is happening behind the scene. There is a huge difference between log-based baselining and session-based baselining. I have Manju connecting VPN. When I think about the traditional analytics or traditional log management, I will do a normal baselining by using a rule. What will happen? I'm seeing Manju connecting from Delhi, right? If tomorrow, after building this baseline, Manju is connecting VPN from Delhi and Mumbai, what will happen? An alert will be generated. But again, it could be normal. What we do differently here, we have a session-based baselining. So I'm baselining the entire behavior of the user for 24 hours. Everything is getting stitched together in 24 hours for every user, for every asset. So if he's getting the VPN, I will link the country to the IP address assigned, to all the RDB servers that he's accessing, all the email communications, the sum of bandwidth sent and received, the browsers he used, the processes he ran, everything. So in case I see him coming tomorrow after building the baseline from another country, I'm not gonna raise an alarm. I will just have an anomaly event telling you that, well, I could see something abnormal, and if you remember risk-based driven, the risk value of this user now is elevated from being 100 to be 105, something like that. But I'm not gonna raise an alarm until I exceed a specific threshold, which is defined and orchestrated again by the ML and the AI, which again is completely configurable. This is the concept of session-based baselining. And as you see here, it could be based on the assets, it could be based on the users. And this is happening behind the scene.
I mean, follow up to that, for example, if Manju further goes down to Sri Lanka tomorrow, right, possibly it might trigger an alert in the legacy SIM saying that there's an impossible travel. But the AI model will going to first see that, okay, do we have an office in Sri Lanka? Okay, within the Sri Lanka, do we have an office in Colombo where I see Rami is connecting from, or say Nandan, then it will not going to trigger it. Otherwise, in the legacy SIM, it will going to say that it's an impossible travel and you will have an alert generated as a false positive.
Yeah. Well, after building the baseline, I would like to see the outcome of the platform. You remember I mentioned two things, which is something we invented in Exabeam. Number one is the concept of using the machine learning and risk-based analytics. Everything is risk-based driven. The second one is the timeline. So I can, whenever you have any user, any asset, I can give you a profile for this user or for this asset. Show me, first of all, the risk, which is 696, which is the sum of all the risk calculated or coming from all the anomalies. So the platform will have side-by-side comparison. Those are the events happening from the user. He is sending an email, he's receiving an email, he's browsing a website. But based on this behavior, I can see that there is an anomaly event generated, and based on the ML, I'm assigning a risk. At the end, if I'm having the risk exceeding a specific threshold, it could be elevated to be an alarm. And if I have multiple of alarms together grouped, it could be elevated to be an incident, which the analyst will focus on. So again, the analyst will not look at this. This is just in case he is interested to drill down and get more about every user or every asset. The minute you click on any one of them, you will get side by side more information about the details of the anomaly, and you can get more information. Even if you remember here, I told you we don't have any black box. You can just press on the rule definition, which will give you a detailed explanation of the algorithms that we used in order to have this anomaly event triggered. Even you can get an access to the raw data. Moving forward, why Exabeam? What is making Exabeam unique? So let's cover this through an actual attack.
So let's take an example of lapsus attack, wherein you have a valid credential where a hacker logs into the domain controller, followed by he does the privilege escalation and using some of the compiled tools. And first thing he does is the defense evasion, which is the EDR disable, and followed by mimikaz, and then he creates a short-lived account to the admin account, and then followed by he does the lateral movement and creates a rule on the email transport saying that add a BCC to all the emails to send it to the hacker's account, and then the outbound mail is being detected. So this is a traditional way of having a tactics to detect it. When it comes to the traditional way, when mimikaz is being executed, you might have an AV which is going to detect that, hey, I see a mimikaz, someone is executed, possible threat out there. And as soon as when it moves, possibly you have a legacy SIM where it's going to tell you that, hey, someone has created a short-lived account, or notify me whenever he creates admin accounts. And then followed by, you might have a DLP solution where it's going to detect it as soon as an outbound connection has been made to the unknown location, right? So let's think of how AI can change into the ecosystem, right? So if you have an AI, can you go back here?
Go back, sorry.
Back. Yeah. So if you have an AI tools in your ecosystem, if you have a next generation AI, it's going to detect a little bit earlier than the traditional DLP, saying that, hey, there is an DLP notification which is being triggered, and if you have a SASE protection which is enabled, it's going to detect much earlier than the email transport rule has been created, right? Likewise, yeah, when you have an next generation EDR, it's going to detect much earlier than the disabling the I would say EDR, right? Now, with the Exabeam, when you have an advanced analytics running in, so as soon as at the first login, we will going to identify the abnormality of the server where we see that an abnormal amount of logins expected. So which means a time taken to detect at the end of the outbound email being triggered, and versus the I would say the first event where abnormal activity or a login happened on the server at May 7th, 11:15. If you see it, from the first alert from an EDR is around 2 a.m. Between this time it has a 5 hours of a delay, which the power of ML and AI can be detected much earlier.
Yep. So this is an actual attack that the customer has detected early by using Exabeam, by depending on the machine learning, not by waiting for the traditional detection engines in order to alert him that I might have like a tool which is running, which is detected by the AV or the ADR, then after the DLP. But this is one of the values why Exabeam. The second one is, as I said, everything is based on behavioral analytics. So everything is based on ML and AI to build a timeline to understand what is normal, what is abnormal in order to focus on high risky, followed by low risky, followed by what, and so on. As I said, it could be based on a user, it could be based on an asset, right? Another important thing why Exabeam is the dynamic alert prioritization. We're gonna cover this in the demo, but if you remember, I told you that it doesn't make sense that I have 100 alerts for the same user, then with the traditional SIM, you will get 100 alerts. What we do differently here is, as long as all of those alerts are relevant to the same user within the 24 hours, I will group all of them together. Then once you click, you will see all the rules grouped together because they are relevant to the same user, which we can call group by. It could be based on a user, it could be based on an IP address, it could be based on the rule itself, right? So this is one of the many values that we have, and again, this is based on the AI. Another important thing why Exabeam is the NLP, which is, I explained in the beginning, you don't have to learn any query language in order to run a search or to create a dashboard or to have a report. Purely based on any language. It could be Arabic, it could be Hindi, it could be English. Just write in a plain what you need to see, and the platform will understand this, and it will give you the result explained in whatever the format that you need, right? Again, we explained the value of the generative AI. You will see this in the live demo. So this is the last slide, and after that, we're gonna cover the live demo. So whenever I have an incident, then the AI will automatically generate an explanation in a simple way for me. Then after that, I can dig more, start chatting with the AI, right? Last but not least is the outcome, which is very, very helpful for every CISO. I would like to measure my maturity. I've invested a lot. I went with Exabeam. I upgraded my antivirus to be a full-fledged EDR. After 6 months, tell me what is my security status, link it either to the category of the use case or to MITRE. Am I getting improved month over month? In order to cover the privileged activity, the AI is telling you that out of 54 recommended log sources you should be integrating with, you have only 20 integrated, giving you some resources, mapping it to MITRE, giving you some insights about the usage of the advanced analytics. When it comes to the UEBA, you have 71 rules enabled, but only 50 of them are triggered. You can drill down and you can check why the remaining rules are not getting triggered, models, giving you more information about the coverage when it comes to correlation, if you have any dashboards. Then once you drill down, it can even tell you that we have some log sources already integrated, but they have a bad parsing. We need to move their parsing tier from tier 4 to tier 1, which will be much better for advanced analytics. With that said, let's go to, this is the innovation I need to, because they told me I have only 15 minutes and I need to cover logarithm. So this is the innovation journey. Look at this. We invented the use of the AI and ML in 2015. Then recently, we introduced our end-to-end cloud-native platform based on Google GCP. With that said, I think the next is the demo.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
This is very important, yeah.
This is very important because you might be thinking, I need to know where I should use Exabeam, where it can fit. So you have 4 options. Option number 1, you have a SIM, you're not happy with your SIM, you need to replace. We can offer a full-fledged cloud-native SIM based on GCP. That's option number 1. Option number 2, you have a SIM, but it's a little bit costly. You would like to build a data lake where you need to store the data for 10 years. Log management. We can do that, and we can augment your SIM. Option number 3, I have a SIM, I'm happy with my SIM, but my SIM is a legacy one. It is missing the concept of ML/AI. That's why we can have Exabeam on top of any SIM, by the way. It's not necessarily to be a logarithm SIM. It could be any SIM in the market, by having it on top of it, it can auto-parse, auto-understand everything coming from this SIM, and the integration could be bi-directional, or you don't have a SIM and you're looking for a SIM platform. So this is where Exabeam fits when it comes to the different environments. With that said, we have 2 live demos in Exabeam, then after that we will move directly to Logarithm. So we need the audio. Audio is working?
Yep.
Okay, it's fine. I can start chatting with AI. So I will get an explanation because I'm asking for more information about the user. So I'm starting chatting with AI in order to give me this information, some recommended actions. Then I can keep asking more questions. What might be the risk factors if I don't stop this trade? Data exfiltration, financial loss, operational disruption. Then I don't want to use a static playbook. AI on the spot create a dynamic playbook for me now, tailored to this specific incident. Then give me an action, so create a script on the spot in order to disable the user account in my Active Directory, and I can use it to do the automation. Then after that, create an email to my CISO to summarize this incident. Now with dashboarding, I'm using the AI. Building a dashboard from scratch. I know nothing about the platform. I have no idea about the query language. I can write in any language, and I can get what I need. I need to get a dashboard for the top vendors sending logs to me in the last 7 days, automatically visualized. Or give me the top events or subjects that I have in my organization in the last whatever the time frame. Or show me the top users in my organization. Well, I would like only to make it top 10. AI, create. Well, I would like to exclude one of them. Easy, exclude one of them. Done, verify, it's gone. And this is how we use the AI even when it comes to creating reports and dashboards, right? So we wanted to show you a practical use case. Now there is a second demo on Exabeam, which is again the use of the AI when it comes to measuring the SOC maturity. This is demo number 2. So it's called Outcome Navigator. It's one of the built-in applications we have as a part of the platform. Outcome Navigator, an application. Measure my maturity based on the type of threat, insider, outsider, malicious, or compromised, or map to MITRE. Focus on any one of them, like ransomware. Give me the insights from the AI point of view. Click on it. Give me my coverage over time, product categories, resources. When it comes to advanced analytics, how many rules enabled, and how many of them are satisfied? View them. Focus on the unsatisfied to go and fix, right? Show me the products that I should be integrating with. Or I might need to improve my parsers and move them from tier 4 to tier 1, and so on. So this is another AI-driven applications we have as a part of our platform. And this is the value of having an AI-driven platform in the Security Operations Center. With that said, this is the first part, and now we will move to the on-prem version, which is Logarithm. Logarithm SIM. And you might be seeing something weird here, which is AI-driven on-prem. What does it mean? Because when you think about the AI, it has to be on the cloud. It needs computer resources. We are introducing the first SIM on the planet with on-prem. Even if you're a dark side AI, you can have it completely on-prem. And we will show this live, right? So we will have a lot of things that we will cover. So we will talk quickly about the challenges because of the time. Then what is Logarithm platform, the updates and the innovation, like what Mazen and Nandan spoke about, the predictive sim. What is the value of the prediction? How can I use it in my security operations center, right? Then how can I measure my maturity? Then promises made, promises kept. What we have changed in Logarithm since more than 2.5 years by having a discipline when it comes to, providing what we are committing to provide by having innovation every 90 days, right? Then we merged Logarithm and Exabeam. What is in for Logarithm from the integration with Exabeam? Is it an advanced integration? Is it like a normal integration? What kind of value we can bring from Logarithm to Exabeam and vice versa from Exabeam back to Logarithm? Then we have 2 live demos showing the on-prem AI-driven security operation center. Quickly, you have to make a balance between detecting the known and the unknown, because most of the organizations are focusing on detecting the knowns by focusing on the IOCs, investing with many threat intel providers, commercial or even open source, implementing many TTPs based on MITRE use cases. But again, this is detecting what is known. The only method of detecting the unknown is the behavioral profiling. You can make a baseline, and after that, you can detect what is abnormal if there is any deviation from this baseline, right? Then we have a new next generation SOC requirement. It's no longer log management and SIM. We have some pillars forming the next generation security operations center. Big data platform, which I should have the capability to ingest the data from any device generating any signal, regardless if it is on-prem or on the cloud, and I should have the capability to store the data for whatever the time period I need online. It could be 90 days, it could be 1 year, it could be 10 years. It should be up to my requirement. I should have the flexibility with the provider, right, or with the SIM platform. Then SIM and the analytics, and there is a huge difference between the two of them. SIM is correlation, linking activity number 1 to 2 to 3. Analytics is different. I would like to apply security analytics, operational analytics, business analytics, predictive analytics in order to see if I'm getting improved or not. And I will give you just a quick technical use case for one of them, like business analytics. We have one of our big customers. He's a bank, and he's integrating his published e-banking. And now he would like to use the data for marketing. So we can track all the financial transactions, and we can rank the top beneficiary accounts, the top credit accounts, and the top currency exchange. We can use this data back to the marketing in order to have some good promotions for those clients, right? Again, I'm using this for some security use cases like fraud detection, but I can use the same data for business analytics. And I can keep an eye and keep comparing my improvement week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, year by year, right? Then UEBA, network traffic analysis, security orchestration, automation and response, and definitely advanced reporting as one of the most important foundations. Another important thing that Mazen covered is we need to completely move from being reactive, not only to be proactive, but we would like to be predictive. So being reactive, it is needed, by the way, it is required. I would like to do threat hunting. If I have an incident, I need to know the story. I need to know the root cause. I need to search what happened from the user before and after, and so on. Still, I need to do threat hunting. I need to be proactive by configuring the latest use cases, by getting a conversion from Sigma rules and implementing all of them. But being predictive is, I need to predict the future before patient zero. It has nothing to do with the threat intel, because to have a threat intel or a confirmed malicious IP, you must have patient zero. You must have an infected machine in order to do the forensics, get all the IOCs and start publishing them. What we do differently here is we predict the acquisition of the infrastructure building in the cloud by the attacker, and we link this to your organization in order to tell you that this IP is communicating with you. It is not malicious. If you go to VirusTotal, you will not find it malicious, but we predict that this IP will be malicious in the future based on 1, 2, 3, 4, which we will cover. So this is another era that we are talking about, which is moving the organizations from reactive, proactive to be predictive. And of course, if you need to build this, it's very costly because you have to get many tools and integrate all of them together, but it is breaking the concept of centralized monitoring because you will have what we call a swivel chair analysis. Someone is looking at multiple of screens in order to tell you the story, and it will be very costly when it comes to license, when it comes to training, when it comes to administration. That's why we say that this approach is not effective. Our approach in Logarithm is we combine all of them in one single platform, which is Logarithm platform. So Logarithm platform is having multiple of engines, big data, next generation sim, we will cover all of them in details. Then the analytics umbrella, where we have the user behavior analytics, network behavior, endpoint behavior. Then we have the capability to apply both of host forensics, network forensics, and everything is powered by a built-in security orchestration, automation, and response. What is Logarithm platform?
So we have a big data platform with a powered by Elastic, derivative of Elastic, and we have a UEBA based on the scenario and ML based UEBA with Exabeam. And when it comes to the NDR forensics, we can do a T-packet inspection, layer 2 to layer 7 inspection, and over 5,000 plus application can be identified on the wire. And when it comes to the analytics, we have like 1,000 plus use cases available out of the box. And unique thing about Logarithm is when it comes to the endpoint forensic, right? It's built into the platform where you can do file integrity monitoring, registry integrity monitoring, and then the process integrity monitoring. So this will help you to detect the early stage of a ransomware, right? Followed by we have SIM and compliance models where we have a highest number of integrations available out of the box, which makes an implementation smoother and faster when it compares to the other competitions as such. And when it comes to the SOAR reporting, we have like around 400 plus playbooks available out of the box. And then reporting, as Rami was showcasing, we have like a advanced reporting where starting from your analyst till the C level, we have a 2,000 plus advanced reporting. It's just a plug and play. You don't have to rely on the developers to build those reporting for you. And in a nutshell, the entire AI orchestrated Exarithm, what we call it, it is built on the on-premises platform.
Yeah. So before we just move on from this slide, there is a big challenge for most of the organizations, which is I'm sure you will have a hidden cost. You will just offer this me in the beginning, then after that you will ask me for a license per each feature. No, we don't have this in Logarithm since we founded this company 20 years ago. We have one single license, and our license is an agreement license between us and the end user. Unlimited number of users, unlimited number of log sources, unlimited access to our software, unlimited number of agents if you would like to do file integrity monitoring, registry integrity monitoring, and so on. And if you exceed the purchased license, nothing will happen as long as you have the infrastructure, I mean the resources, computing power that can handle the load coming. Our license is based on messages per second / events per second. It is the same, but it is an agreement license, so we don't have a hidden cost like some of the other vendors where if you need the compliance module, you have to pay a license. If you're exceeding the purchase license, you have to pay. If you need the SOAR, you have to pay. We don't have this. And this is making us a predictable vendor when it comes to 3 to 5 years total cost of ownership. With that said, moving forward with Logarithm, we need to show you the innovation of Logarithm since we started the company in 2005. So we started with the log management, and I know Mazen covered this one, so I'm just going through it quickly. But what we have different in Logarithm is what we started actually in 2022. What we started in 2022 is what you see, and I assure you will never see this from any other vendor. Why? Because this is our bread and butter. We don't do any other thing except this platform. We revamped the way we develop the platform by having a disciplined, fixed release every 90 days. It started from July 2022 across the 2 mega platforms that we have, NewScale, which is Exabeam, and Logarithm Sim. Every 90 days, we have a mega release, and we get even the feedback from the field. If the end user is interested to add a feature, functionality, do some sort of innovation, this is how we improve the platform. We get this information and we get this requirement and we start talking to our PM team, engineering team to do some sort of prioritization in order to speed up the process, moving some items from being B2 to B1 and so on. So this is showing the commitment that we call promises made, promises kept. So we have to deliver what we promised to deliver, right?
I mean,
So,
this is publicly available. If you go to logarithm/what's new, and then you will be able to find what are the new innovations which we made quarterly and what's coming next quarter.
yeah. Well, I'm just jumping quickly because they are telling me that I ran out of time, but I wanted to cover as much as I can, to be honest, right? So this is when it comes to the prediction. Just to explain the idea, before I have the attack happening, I would like to tell you that the attacker X, or the ABT group, has acquired infrastructure on the cloud in order to start attacking you.
Yep.
And we can represent this on the dashboard by having predictive dashboarding, predictive threat hunting, predictive analytics, predictive SOAR, and this is how we show it. This is an actual deployment. That's why we removed the confidential data. I'm showing you the list of predicted IPs, your exposed assets, the importance of this activity based on the profile of the machine learning and AI, what kind of prediction category, because everyone is acquiring an asset to attack you based on a behavior. He would like to spread a malware. He could be using it for ransomware. He could be using it for spam. It could be used for anything. That's why we have a prediction category. We show you when did we predict it on, and the patient is zero. The beauty about this one, easily after that, you can verify whether we are saying the truth or not, because you can say here, after being verified, who verified that this IP address is malicious now, which is not coming from logarithm. It could be coming from VirusTotal. It could be coming from any threat intel. So you can easily verify that the prediction is accurate. And definitely you can just have a graph showing the prediction. So definitely when you have an attack, the attacker will not only acquire an IP address to attack you, he's acquiring a subnet. So if you are preventing one, he can use the second, he can use the third. That's why we are visualizing it in a simple way for the team. I can do predictive threat hunting, I can do predictive analytics, and have some alerts if I have any connection happening with predicted IPs, all of these things. Just skipping quickly. SOC maturity, again, you cannot improve what you don't measure. This is something we introduced recently in Logarithm platform. So in order to measure whether you are getting improved or not, you have to have a criteria. And most of the organizations, they think about time to detect, time to respond. We have 7 metrics that we can easily measure for every organization. Time to detect, time to respond, time to triage, time to qualify, time to investigate, time to mitigate, time to recover. It's not just a theoretical explanation. You can see them explained in details. I will just cover one for the time. So when it comes to time to triage, it is the time taken by the analyst to notice that there is an alarm that he has to click on and inspect. So it is the time between having an alarm created and clicking on the alarm. Then you can see the time to qualify, the time between having the alarm created and either closing the alarm, it's false positive, or escalating the alarm. So we measure all of these things and we show them to the CISO in a report like that. I would like to have a report showing what I'm getting and the security operation audit, or I would like to have a comparison. Show me what I had last month compared to what I have now when it comes to the risk, when it comes to the log sources, when it comes to the number of alarms, when it comes to my KPIs here, time to detect, time to respond, time to qualify, am I getting them improved or not? Or if you would like, you can have the KPIs per analyst, and you can have their photos if you would like. These are all SEs from Logarithm, by the way. You can measure the KPIs for all of them. This is me and Manju, okay? So you can have the KPIs measured per organization, per team, per entity, per SOC analyst, right? This is there in the platform, in the on-prem Logarithm platform out of the box. Then compare to improve, I'm just skipping quickly because of the time. Then recently, we introduced Logarithm and Exabeam integration after the merge. So what we have done is introducing what we call Logarithm intelligence. We introduced a bi-directional integration between the two of them. So I'm forwarding the data from certain log sources to Exabeam UEBA in order to do the magic related to machine learning and AI, and I'm getting the finding back from the AI back to Logarithm to be the single pane of glass. So we have done the integration in a bi-directional way in order to have the two of them side by side. I'm using the power of Logarithm when it comes to the on-prem, data segregation, multi-tenancy, all of these things, compliance, and I'm using the power of Exabeam when it comes to machine learning, AI, and so on, right? And this is just showing how we get the data and visualize it on logarithm interface coming back from Exabeam. I would like to show you all of these things live on the demo. That's why I'm just skipping multiple of slides, right? Yeah, so logarithm or Rhythm AI orchestrator. Have you ever thought that a vendor will bring the AI to be on-prem, completely on-prem, even if you are a dark side? We have launched our AI orchestrator completely on-prem. There is no need to connect to the internet, and we can update it offline manually if needed every 90 days. We have approximately 90 billions parameters on a physical server, on-prem, integrated with logarithm. The whole idea is to use an AI analyst to help my SOC team to answer many questions, to do some analysis, to do some response, recommendations, measure and calculate some risk factors, get me some reports, get me some investigations, write some emails, check reputation, all of these things. Let's see it practically, right? I think we have 3 demos. So I will just cover the first and second demo, and if we have time, I will show the third one. This is demo number 1, showing the use of the AI with logarithm on-prem SIM platform. So I have an alarm, I'm investigating it. This is in Arabic. It could be in any language, which I'm gonna show you in the second demo. I can ask questions and I can get immediate answers, right? Completely on-prem, dark side, there is no internet. I'm simulating a ransomware behavior now, and I will get the files encrypted, and I will get the pop-up message that my files have been encrypted. I'm detecting, and I'm investigating it, right? The analysis, what are the risk factors if I don't stop this potential threat? Getting all the information. What will be the financial damage that might happen to me if I don't stop the ransomware? Giving you all the information. Give me the list of actions I should take in order to take an immediate resolution action, which is a playbook. This is from the analysis. Now I need to take an action as well. I can investigate the log and check the reputation. If you need to connect to the internet, it can check the reputation for you, create a ticket internally, or even update the status of the alarm. Let me show you this now live without the music, which is this video. Increase the volume, please.
So we will be working on this alarm. So alarm name is here and alarm ID is here. Can you investigate the alarm ID?
I'm speaking. I don't have to type. I can speak to the AI.
So as you can see, it has done the analysis and it has given some remediation actions and recommendation for the security enhancements, as well as it has done very nice documentation and so what needs to be communicated with the stakeholders. Let's take some more actions. Can you check the reputation of IP addresses found in the log? So it has identified the IP address. So the scene can be seen from when we do a drill down of this alarm. Let's quickly verify. So the same IP address can be seen here, 43.130.16.82. And it says that the conference code is 100. Let's quickly verify that. So it's the same 100%, so it it has identified. Let's take some more actions. Can you create a case with the name of this alarm and make it priority P1, and summary should include a short summarization of this alarm.
So I'm integrating with my built-in case management API. The AI is orchestrating this, as you see.
So the case ID 37. So this is a case which it just created. So you can see that the case name is the same as the alarm name. So that's what we asked the AI to do. And case ID is here, so the same number here. And we asked it to create a P1 case. So the same thing has been created here with a nice summary as well. So it tells that pass the hash and admin share was accessed. So this is a summary actually, summarization of this alarm. So it has filled this information for us.
Last action.
All right, change the status of this alarm as reported. You can now see that it will shortly change the status as reported. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, so I'm just skipping this one because there is no time. So this is what I wanted to show you. I hope if my Hindi is good. So I wanted to show you that even you can chat with the AI in Hindi, whether you're talking to Logarithm or Exabeam. Just to recap, we have covered both of Logarithm and Exabeam. So Exabeam is a cloud-native AI-driven platform. I hope we managed to show some practical use cases about the use of the AI in daily operation center, security operation center. The same with Logarithm Sim, which is completely on-prem, and even we introduced the AI for the on-prem version of Logarithm. Last but not least, as you see here, everything we innovate, everything we introduce to the market will be useless without a verification, without a feedback from you. So we evolve, we improve, we enhance the platform based on the feedback coming from the field. That's why we are keen to listen to our customers, to hear back from them. What are the things that we should focus on? What are the improvements that we should add to the platform? And we will be more than happy to hear the feedback from you. With that said,
thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your time, and sorry for the long presentation, and appreciate your valuable time. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. And we'll be around here. If anyone is interested to know more about it, we can reach out to us.
Yeah. We have a demo station outside if you would like to see and try this live as well.
Yeah. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Remy and Manjunath. And with that, we have time to move on to the last session, which is the panel discussion. We have been hearing from Logarithm, Exabeam, and Netpolian about AI and cybersecurity, about the various use cases, and we saw a wonderful demonstration as well of the different use cases. And to address the panel discussion, I would like to invite Yusuf Hashmi, who is Group CISO at Jubilant Bhartiya, Baidyanath Kumar, CISO and DPO at JK Lakshmi Cement, and Abhishek Bansal, CISO Max Life Insurance Company Limited. A big round of applause, and please welcome our esteemed panelists. Indeed, we have had a lot of discussion around cybersecurity and AI, and I think the intersection of these two, cybersecurity and AI, is something that every CISO is talking about today. And while a lot has already been said about how AI can impact the cybersecurity strategy, I would like to understand from each one of you in terms of what are the top cybersecurity challenges. I know it's a very broad question because it can range from A to Z and it can be endless, but maybe the top 3 cybersecurity challenges that CISOs are facing today, and where does AI fit into the picture to address some of these? So maybe we can start with you.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible. So sort of you're sleeping actually for some time. So I think the lunch, the dinner is there. I think
No, no, but
between us.
I'm
So,
sure we still have the hall full, so we know that everyone is
so
excited about
a
it.
lot of technology, a lot of consoles, you know. So it was really interesting session just before that. Pretty technical, right? So I think uh, the biggest skill actually when it comes to these consoles technologies is the skills. You need still people to run these technologies. So generally we adopt such a large technology stack which is available, and we really enjoy and take passion to adopt these technologies, right? But without understanding that whether these certain technologies are actually required in my context or not. So I think the contextual understanding of your environment, technically, process, ecosystem, business is very important when you lay down the architecture for your security technologies. I think that's where the problem starts from. Knowing your environment and what the right best fit for me, which suits my environment, right? It's not like it's cybersecurity is never a no one size fits all. It's a very common say. So I think being a CISO is so critical when you actually uh, invest in certain technologies, but later on when you literally found that, hey, look, that was a wrong decision. And if you have invested quite good, just because of lack of contextual understanding where this technology will fit into my environment. Is that the right tool that I have deployed? Do we have the skills to run that tool? Do I have my MSSP have the skills if I am outsourcing mostly of my security to outsourcing provider? So how do I actually take that next step? So it's a very important question. uh, Technology is, yes, of course, is very important to understand, but where that the context of the technology lies, so that I make optimal use of my technologies and I configure it to my needs, right? Having a lot of technologies, having so much of capabilities, but it's not being used, and there's no point adopting certain technologies. So you have to take next step and see that where you, such technologies, for example, AI, or when you talk about, we just discussed about artificial intelligence, machine learning. How do I apply in which context, right? Which is the most important area where I think that AI would be able to be a partner for me to actually take that next step, which I'm trying to explain or present to the board that, hey, look, I have actually invested this is my ROI, right, for this kind of investment. So the ROSI and the investment has to be there, translated into and presented back to the board. That's what the board, I think that's the steps that CISOs need to take.
That's very interesting what you mentioned about contextualizing. And I think that goes back to tying it up with the business requirements and the business challenges. And that kind of then works forward to the contextualization of the cybersecurity technologies within the stack. What is it that you require? And I will come back to you. You mentioned that this requires analyzing where AI fits into your into which use case, and I'll come back to you on how do you do that. But the same question in terms of uh, how how do you see AI, or rather, where do you see AI within your entire cybersecurity strategy, and are there particular top two or three challenges that you're trying to address using AI?
Yeah, so I would like to take forward. I completely second to the use of thoughts, because understanding the business context is something which is very important. And when we are talking about cybersecurity complexities, if you see the threat landscape, right, how it is changing dynamically. So the one thing I wanted to highlight you, if you see the last one decade, the compound annual growth rate in terms of the average cost of breach or data breach has increased 4% year on year. So what does it mean? So if you talk about 2013 or 14, if it was $3 million, so it has increased to $4.5 million today. So we are investing continuously into tools, technologies. What at what cost? At the cost of complexity. So more and more tools into the SOC, the challenges are more, because correct. So that's the challenge. If you see the practical challenge is directly in the SOC. So from AV to adding to EDR, then XDR, then SIM, to now we are talking about network traffic analysis as part of the overall SOC setup. And on top of that, then threat intel management, then adding CDR, the technologies keep on adding, right? More and more screens, more and more alert fatigue. But where we do, finally we have to land. So I think the approach has to be simplicist. We have to simplify the security controls, and we need to understand the challenges, the rapid advancements in the attack surface. For example, if you see these days, the attack tools are something like a commodity for the attackers, right? They can get the low cost tools, and they can, even a script kiddies is becoming
They're also
attacker,
using AI.
right? And they are using the attacker in much advanced way. So I think that approach we have to also adopt, because when you talk about the adversaries, so they are even the way we are talking about, are we dealing with what sort of attack? So we have to understand our threat context. Then we have to understand that are we directly dealing with, you can say that, state sponsored attackers or some sort of script kiddies or low level attacks. So those all understanding, then you are understanding your business context, and accordingly placing the right set of solution. And obviously AI is going to complement that, we will be discussing further. Yeah.
So I can actually tie back two things between what Yusuf and you mentioned, Baidyanath. One is that you mentioned the complexity that comes with bringing into the environment so many different tools and technologies. And what you mentioned, Yusuf, is like you end up implementing numerous technologies, and a lot of times you don't know where they fit and what is the ROI that you're getting, or whether you actually required them or not. So that understanding is, or rather that back-end analyzing your cybersecurity strategy and finding the gaps and where to fit AI becomes critical. Yeah. So Abhishek, you heard both of them, and of course we have been having conversation for the last 2 hours about AI. In your opinion, what are those areas, let's say the top three cybersecurity threats or challenges for CISOs today uh, that they face, and how AI can help address those top challenges and the top threats in this complex landscape?
So first of all, thank you for having me on the panel. My compliments to the guy Rami. I think very impressive presentation. I really loved it, the way he kind of ran through last 2 hours. The foremost challenge, I'll not count to three. I think the only challenge which I see surmounting all CISOs is primarily the way the alert fatigue is increasing. I mean, I will second what both my fellow panelists have mentioned here, both with respect to number of technologies and the complexities. So number of alerts which one has to deal with, it's humongously impossible know how large an MSSP you kind of put in. So AI has to come into play if you really need to fight that battle. So I see the role of AI in terms of combating basically the threats which are now getting generated all across in a big way.
So we already see that there is a huge skills gap, the right skill sets, availability of right skill sets, and on top of that, with the the vast volumes of data coming from the different security systems, there is not enough skill set available to analyze that data and lead to effective detection and response. And of course the existing skills which are there, because they're less in number, there is a huge burnout that we're seeing. And this is very concerning for the CISOs today. So Yusuf, one is that how, like you said, you kind of try to figure out, analyze where does AI fit in. So do you think AI can play a critical role here in terms of uh, kind of uh, making the threat detection and response more effective without leading to burnout among the the, the teams that you have in the system?
Yeah, of course. I think if AI been given the right structure, right? See, human intelligence, there's no comparison, right? So that stays always on top. That will always be required, even though you have the bestest of the AIs in the panel. But actually, the humans have to actually make the AI learn your environment first, right? So uh, and it also depends that what skills and what is the structure that you have in place for your SOC, for your security operations. Is it outsourced or is it insourced, right? So when it becomes insourced, it's a more challenging task for the CISOs, because then you have to ensure that you have to hire the right person who has all the necessary certifications, skills, and experience in so many of the technologies, which is literally become very impossible, because generally in an enterprise around 20-25 technologies run across. And how do I actually allocate the responsibility? It's a big challenge, right? I can give one or two or three, but the kind of technologies which are growing now, I think outsourcing is a really best option to see that how you can actually leverage the MSSP to have that ability which you are more flexible and getting the best of the skills coming in from outside. Yes, you still need to have those control. So you need to have people who have understanding of the technology that you're driving. AI will definitely help, because the volume of data that is growing tremendously. You have so much of log sources are increasing every day. You want to feed in everything into your SOC, and you want to respond it as quickly as possible. So, and of course, the people who are sitting at the SOC analysts, what kind of skills they have is very important. What kind of experience they're coming, they are novice. Do they have understanding of the infrastructure elements? Do they have understanding of the cloud? Do they have understanding of the workloads running on your application? I think that's very, very important to lay down that structure and baseline for somebody to manage your SOC. So if you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult. Even you put a best of the AI, which you think that you would be able to replace the human intelligence, yes, it would, but generally it would not help unless the people who are actually driving this entire ecosystem don't have the understanding of how you run a SOC, right? How you actually do a triage. So I think AI will help, but it's not going to replace humans for sure.
Yeah, that I think every one of us would agree here, that it's always going to be a combination of human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's a co-pilot, just what we see,
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
it can't be driven by alone by AI. So that's why it's very important. And the skills is a must, because what currently is what we are experiencing is the lack of skills is a really pain in the current generation that we are running. People don't have the understanding of the basic premise of an infrastructure, right? What are those logs are, what kind of ingestion technologies that we need to use. It's very essential to have that understanding of the skill. Then you would be able to make use of such platform which augments your
Yes.
skills, right? So I just not going to replace, but I'm going to augment AI into my SOC or my because SOC is what we are talking about. Generally, the SOC, so I can reduce, I can quickly respond. How can we improve the MTTD and MTTR, right? Because the volumes of data is growing tremendously.
Very well said. Baidyanath, what is your take on how organizations can best leverage AI within their security environment to enhance threat detection and response?
Exactly, because most of the SOCs which we see, right, is facing the same problem what we are discussing today, right? If you see in an enterprise environment, uh, approx 11K of incidents are getting generated per day. 93% of the SOCs still believe that they are working through their manual operations or manual processes, and 23% of the alerts are getting completely ignored. So these all statistics clearly shows that what we need to understand how the logs are getting ingested into this SOC system. What are the data formats? Because if you see, there is a syslog technique, there is a CEF technique. So multiple techniques are there. The log formats are getting collected. Then on top of that, if you see what is the log level you have also set. Those things are very important. When you have that huge data, you can't do the manual analysis. For sure you can't do. And that's why we are discussing the role of the AI. So AI can look into all those data sets, and then also what accurate models we need to have in the SOC. So, like in case of SOC, whether it is Gen AI or Precision AI, that is something which we have to understand. So, which accurate model has to be there? Then the model has to be a capability to develop on the basis of the patterns or data sets coming from the different technologies. Because if you have, obviously there will be firewalls in the system, intrusion detection systems in the system, then web application firewalls, CDS, cloud workloads, whatnot. So if the logs are coming from these all disparate systems, then there has to be a capability by the AI, what is the model which is being used, that can look into the large amount of data set. And then it can do some sort of, obviously, triaging the alerts. That is very important. When we are talking about alerts, so we all talked about the alert fatigue, right? And obviously it is something where in the modern threat landscape, what we have always seen is something we have to find actually needle in the haystack, right? So when we are going to find that, we have to getting empowered with a technology which is guiding us through that. And once that is done truly by the AI, then your SOC analysts can actually focus on the complex tasks.
Right. You rightly said finding a needle in the haystack. Abhishek, what do you see as the top use cases and the most impactful use cases of AI in security?
So largely, I think I'll first. I mean, we have been all been talking about logs ingestion, right? And I love the term fact-based analysis being put forth. We are still in an era whereby the entire set of logs in organizations are not integrated very well, right? So you have silos available whereby, and especially these silos have increased in last 2 to 3 years, whereby there is a set of applications which are managing your cloud and how the monitoring is done on cloud. Then there is a world of XDR now because people feel like no, a lot of things at endpoints are being managed by XDR. And then there is a third silo which is left no, to your traditional SIEM. Now, whether these three are talking to each other and how we are leveraging actually that entire user entity behavior model is little far fetched. So I definitely see no, a usage of technology in actually connecting this all and making a lot more sense in terms of entire when we talk about behavior profiling. If you still talk to a lot many players, the use cases which are given are very traditional. No? Somebody who's going to log at the VR, no, and not 9 to 6 shift, and no, that's how it's going to raise as an alarm. But when we are talking of adaptive no, authentication in terms of identity, when we are talking of machine or the IoT devices actually throwing some of the identities, when we are talking of bot creating a traffic, right? So ingesting a lot of these things, making sense of these things put together is something where technology can be put to good use. And definitely how we can kind of make it easy. So for example, the simple operations which were showcased in the demo in terms of while Rami was speaking to the AI and it was like, okay, fine, triage this, log a ticket and everything. Till date, is it something which is thoroughly automated? The answer is no. I mean, people still go log a case in a different tool, somebody will do and triaging. So this is something which is time consuming in that manner and this is not productive. So I completely agree that no, it's nobody can replace human beings, but there is a high degree of maturity you would require in human beings and actually cut the mundane work from them. So that's another area where I see AI playing a big role. So these are few things which I feel like no AI should be leveraged.
Absolutely. I think we're talking of augmentation, human intelligence, or rather AI, whether it's AI augmenting human intelligence or human intelligence augmenting AI. Thank you so much. Since we are already running late, I would like to request all three panelists for their closing remark. In terms of course, AI in the context of AI and cybersecurity. Any closing remark from all three of you?
I think, yes, the best thing is to approach is to understand what you need. And of course, start from SOC. I think it's a much easier way to actually get into the AI stuff. Wherever you have volumes, right?
Right.
And where you have skills issues, I think you can cover up by putting some kind of this mechanism to see that how actually you respond and create that environment that where actually you need to see that what are the areas that you are actually pain areas. So it's very essential to have technologies which are self-enabling so that you are able to actually respond to what actually the tasks that need to be performed. And AI, of course, is the need of the art. So it has to happen. And I think start applying stepwise approach to certain technologies.
Great. So where there's skills gap and where there are high volumes, that's like the top, let's say, uh, use cases for AI.
Yeah, the amount of log sources, cloud, on-prem, I think, and IoT is also added to the overall cyber landscape. So the log sources have grown significantly, and the kind of attacks, the methods and techniques also getting more and more advanced. So you need to have proper mechanism to respond and fortify your defenses using AI.
Thank you. Vedanath, your
Yeah,
remarks.
I think the first thing is very important is understanding the business context. Because if you see, coming from manufacturing sector, we have a different set of challenges. It's not only limited to IT workloads or applications. OT is there. OT IT integration is there. uh, you can say that there are challenges associated with that. And then once you have done that, you have to create a clear roadmap, right? Including the cyber security strategy, tools and technologies what are going to be deployed, and then on top of that, SOC maturity. So it should be having the integral, simplified, converged approach, looking into both IT and OT with a same single pane of glass, no segregated or silos views. And once you have developed or trying to mature the SOC operations, so all the important tools and technologies which are considered in the modern SOC, they should be part of the same integrated framework. And then you have to leverage AI, ML based capabilities to mature it further. That's the correct approach.
Abhishek.
So I'll just add to what Yusuf mentioned. Right? I'll just add to it. So AI is pretty much everywhere. So we need cyber security for AI, but parallelly we also need AI for cyber security. So it's the time, let's adopt.
Absolutely. On that note, thanks to all the panelists, our esteemed panelists, and to all of you. However, this is just the start of the conversation, and we will keep the conversation flowing over cocktails and dinner. But I request for your patience for another 2 to 3 minutes. In the meanwhile, thank you so much, and a big round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful evening. The last 2.5 hours have gone by with a lot of insights, which I promised during the starting of the session. I hope you found them to be useful, and the demo, it was a live demo, and if you have any questions or want more information on the aspects that were shown in the demo, you can reach out to the team from Logarithm, Exabeam, as well as Netpolian, as well as for any other discussion that you want to have or understand the technology stack, you can reach out to the team. And of course, the panelists are also available. It will be good to hear your views, since we could not take the audience questions right now. It will be good to hear your views, and would encourage all of you to get the conversation going over dinner as well.